Hello guys, my name is Richmond and welcome to LEC Rundown. This week in the LEC, I didn't actually watch any of the games as I had to bleach my eyes out after being forced to look at Ender's outfits for multiple days straight. Now, into the games. The first best of 3 of the brand new format was Vitality vs Heretics. Vitality came into this series as the regular season winners, so no one was surprised when they completely stomped Game 1. Part of the first game disaster by Heretics was a brand new phenomenon we are witnessing this season. Just like things like, for example, EU Fiora in the past, we are now getting EU Caitlyn. Not only does only like one bot lane in our whole region know how to get leads with Caitlyn, most of them straight up lose the 2v2 over and over again. This phenomenon resulted in this happening in minute 4.
Do anything to respond back, but on the bottom side of the map, Mercy now been locked up. Neon now stepping forward. Big damage coming in onto Mercy. Lands the Mystic shots, lands the auto. There's nothing left of Neon. He's not.
Vitality's quote-unquote scaling bot lane fucked the quote-unquote lane oppressive Heretics bot lane so hard, not even Evie on his newfound one trick could save this game. So this stomp just really confirmed the expectations that were set before the series, so no one was surprised when Game 2 was another stomp. What was surprising was the fact that it was Heretics doing the stomping. I will give you 5 seconds to guess what caused this. That's right, it was EU Caitlyn again. This time, 2 times as efficient. Instead of running it down in minute 4 like Heretics did, Vitality decided to pick Caitlyn and run it down in minute 2.
From Jankos there should be a little bit easier to get onto Caitlyn.
Oh, another hook lane. Are they going to kill Kaiser and lane flash forward from Jack Spectre? They're trying to finish the job. One more auto is going to do it. First blood coming in. Oh, nobody can play the Caitlyn in LEC. They're just too damn good. That is redemption.
Not that Heretics were clean either. Evie, on his Winter Split 1 trick, decided that the game is won anyway and went into a complete YOLO fight versus Photon's Jax while being 1000 gold ahead. He lost the fight.
Make sure he shouldn't be punished.
Just some trading back and forth. No more all-ins quite yet. Although I love how aggressive everyone plays this lane. It's my favorite part of watching this lane. Never mind, it's an all-in. Heavy full committing. He's gone completely and totally all out. The stun gonna connect. Now just looking for the solo bullet. Photon!
Now, of course, this didn't matter because Heretics had a turbo fed Zeri and they ended in 26 minutes anyway, but yeah. And so we went on to our first budget silver scrapes of the season. And we already saw a positive in this draft. No one picked fucking Caitlyn. This meant that both bot lanes actually got to play the game and looked fairly decent. Unfortunately for Heretics, Perks' good friend Jankos decided to give him a wedding gift in form of a free pass to the upper bracket of the group stage.
I think it's just creating like a bit of confidence for Heretics to move in, but
Oh, here comes Photon. Knockback right in the Jankos. Jankos gonna immediately ult, trying to get something back, but it's a quick pick from the side of Vitality.
Outside of Jankos kind of running it, this game was a massive fiesta worthy of Platinum solo queue. Just like pretty much all of Vitality's games. Now, obviously that is very fun to watch, but we should be getting ready to cry when MSI comes if this is supposed to be a championship contender in our region. The second series of the day was supposed to be the closest one. A strong looking escape from regular season against the struggling reigning champions, Koi. So everyone was surprised when SK came into game 1 looking like complete and utter shit. Now, to be fair to the SK bot lane, they got a solid 2v2 kill in the start.
Level 3 is so strong, double melee means they can lock up a singular target. DOS finds Comp, no flash. Comp really doesn't have anywhere to get out of this one. Flash forward from Exekick and the SK bot lane is up.
Unfortunately for them, Koi found a winning strategy. And that strategy was to use the fact that Certus decided to look like a mid-diamond Yasuo OTP whose Yasuo got banned and they killed him once.
Cess is going to path up towards this, try and get the saplings in there. Marcoon going out to Larson, flash away. Mawang now joins the fray as Larson is low, down to 200 HP, ticking, but not quite enough. Marcoon has to flash away. Mawang now looking for another stun. Gets it, Larson flashes forward, but Mawang's already taking the kill. Marcoon's next on the menu.
And again,
Right, Marcoon knows he's here, he's not farming, so SK, Certus then has to give up the push. And I think that looming threat is what Koi play off of. Certus trying to dodge to the side, but he gets knocked up with the Arctic Sun. You just can't escape the looming threat that is...
and again.
They have not really got a wave, it's just a gank really. He's not going to be able to hit the Q, but he can hit the slow. And there's the root as well. We don't really need to hit the quick Q when Certus has nowhere to move. Mawang takes it again.
Now, I'd like to point out that Certus' third death was at 6:20. That's not even 7 minutes into the fucking game. Poor lad. So after this, SK tried to snowball their bot lane, but Larson and Malrank were already so fucking ahead that no fight was like able to go right at all. So SK just got fucked. And we already knew Game 2 would be a disaster in draft. And that is because SK locked Caitlyn. Now, Exekick didn't run it nearly as much as Neon and Czech Spectra in the series before him, but he still came out of the laning phase behind by a couple hundred gold, which should be at least the other way around on Caitlyn. But the real hero for Koi this game was Certus, who thought the Azir adjustments that were rumored on PBE actually went live and proceeded to Shrima shuffle his way to death pretty much on fucking cooldown. Marcoon tried to drag his team into a playable mid-game, but pretty much everyone was fucking in sync at this point, so he couldn't do much on a fucking Amumu. Then we moved on to Day 2. We kicked Day 2 off with Mad vs Astralis. The concept of the series was fairly simple. Remember when I talked about EU Caitlyn? There's also EU Vi. It's just as bad as EU Caitlyn, if not worse. We're really fucked for MSI, aren't we? Now, as pretty much every game this week, Game 1 started off by a complete 2v2 fiesta in the bot lane with someone running it down. This time, the team running it down was Astralis.
Still a W. Karzi, though, going to be going very aggressive here. The Ignite came in just as the heal went down, so Kabe has to get himself back there a little bit. Flash forward there by Jonghoon trying to catch out Karzi. Both AD carries trading very heavily. Flash forward, ebb and flow. Oh, first blood goes to Himosai. It doesn't matter the champion, he is going to go.
Mad Lions then kind of started to completely end mid-game, but unfortunately for Astralis, their jungler had two very, very big issues. Issue number 1 was the fact that he played Vi. The second issue was the fact that he is 1-1-3. He did complete fuck all in a couple of teamfights, and then Astralis just kind of rolled over and died as Niski scaled to heaven on Azir. Now, remember when I talked about Vi? In Game 2, it was Elyoya's turn to int on it. While the game started with a messy but still overall good for Mad 3-for-3 in the bot lane, things quickly went sideways as Elyoya died 8 times, mostly in preventable situations. Niski was kind of huge again, this time on the rise, but he couldn't really carry it because everyone on Mad was pretty much running it every time any objective was up. And so we went to Game 3. Astralis picked a surprising team comp with a mid-bot support of Karma, Cassiopeia, Twitch. There were 3 big problems for Astralis this time. Number 1 was the same as Game 1, which means 1-1-3 on the Vi. The other 2 were brand new. The first one of them was the fact that Jonghoon can't play late game Twitch for shit. But the more important one of them was the fact that Cassante is still ridiculously fucking OP.
pretty badly for them in game number 1. Let's see if they can secure it this time around. They are shredding it still. Cassiopeia, Elioya gets jumped on but knocks away Finns, who doesn't get the CC. Baron, 2000 HP. Chasey gets a kill. They're going to try and make this one work. That says Wani is dead. There is no steal to be had. The Baron is secured, but can you get out alive? That is the question. Deor, no mana, nowhere to go. He will fall. The Cassio is dead.
After this fight, Jonghoon had another couple of useless team fights just like he had before, and then Astralis just kind of fell face down and went to the lower bracket. The last best of 3 of round 1 was G2 versus BDS. This was expected to be the most exciting series, on which it honestly kind of delivered. Well, at least until it didn't. Anyway, game 1 started off with a banger. By which I mean Adam picking fucking Garen. That was a massive surprise, as Garen was never meta in pro play. Well, at least in top lane. You can ask Reckless about the whole story about what I mean here. Adam actually played really well, solo killing BB and outplaying a dive. Crowny also got very fed on the Zeri, so BDS looked like they had the recipe for success. Unfortunately for them, Yikes Lilia happened.
Everybody is aware of.
Yeah, look, GT want to dive top, they want to get top tier 2, but look who's on the way. Adam's coming up towards his top side. Good knock.
Landing a 3-man knock-up. Nuke on the backside, only Broken Blade on top for now. Yike now leaping in, he's going to man to sleep onto 2. That's big, both carries. Yike, it's his time to shine. He's going to try to find him. Spin, 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 getting through. Broken Blade taking out Nuke. BDS getting shut down finally. The Lilia is making an impact. Mickey flashing in, hooking, keeping the Sejuani locked. One more kill for G2 Esports.
G2 got a plus 5k Baron of this and the game was just kind of over, and I'm pretty sure they ended with it, so just one completely horrible fight and it completely fell apart. Game 2 really delivered in this series. After game 1, Adam got angry and went back to his Olaf Darius 2-trick mode and completely took over the lane game on Olaf. What really set the game into motion for BDS was G2 turbo sprinting it in BDS's bottom side jungle in minute 5.
Yike and Mickey trying to invade onto this jungle support of BDS, see if they can find anything to be back from Nuke. If they want to take this 3v3, BDS can.
Keeping it going, but Labrov is right behind them. Yike desperate to get something back. The knockup is not going to connect. Yike now trying to leap out to safety. He's already burned the E. All the damage reduction starting to fade away. They've taken out Yike. They're going to take out Mickey. It's 2.
Well.
G2, what are you doing?
Despite some mid-game hiccups, BDS successfully transitioned their early lead into a game win and sent us to game 3. Now, remember when I said this series was a banger until it wasn't? Yeah. BDS got giga-fucked on all lanes in game 3 and G2 ended in minute 22 with an 18k gold lead. The only interesting fact about this game was that we had another EU Caitlyn incident with Crowny getting fucked by Varus Leona. And so we went on to day 3. In our first series for locking top 4, we had Vitality versus Koi. And this series was not even close to as interesting or close as we expected it, so I'm just kind of going to speed through it. Game 1 was really just a massive bot gap. While the Vitality top side found consistent leads, Neon and Kaiser fell incredibly behind in the 2v2. Now, I didn't agree with them at first, but now I feel like the Chinese forums might have been right about Neon. Game 2 was an even bigger stomp by Koi. They got like 9 quick early game kills with the whole map except the top lane completely falling apart, and while Photon did have some great mid-game fights, he couldn't really carry his Inting team on the Olaf, so Vitality just kind of died. The second series for locking top 4 and the final series of the week was Mad vs G2. And I'd love to say otherwise, but it looks just as bad as the series before in terms of how one-sided it was. Holy fuck, I just realized how incredibly boring and one-sided the whole of Monday was compared to Saturday and Sunday when it was supposed to be the top 4 battling it out. Anyway, on to game 1. The early game started off pretty balanced, with both teams making proactive plays. Unfortunately, Chasey got put in charge of a soup kitchen and thus had to feed everyone. He achieved this by dying on every single square foot on the map, so the enemy mid and bot didn't have to actually roam to get takedowns from him. After the early game, Mad just got picked apart and didn't win a single fight after like minute 12, so it was just kind of sad to watch. And speaking of sad to watch, the Mad Lions left Hans Sama's Draven up for game 2. He picked it. Mad's bot lane did not have a good time. Outside of Draven getting turbo fed, the game looked pretty much like game 1, with Mad doing okay-ish in the early game and then just completely folding and getting picked apart as the game progressed. Anyway, that's it for this week's games. Let's move on to this week's Runner of the Week. With Fnatic and Excella eliminated a week ago, it wasn't actually that hard to pick only 3 contenders for this week. That's mostly because most of this week's Intink was a team effort, but that's another issue. The 3 contenders are Certus for Shurima shuffling into Sejuani dash, ulting only the tank and dying.
Glacial Prism flashed away and now with elements in the midst of 3. The Empress of Ice Certus was locked up for a second there. Didn't have time to get the ultimate off.
Elyoya for walking around so randomly he managed to make 113 look good on the Jarvan.
See what Chasey will do. He should have to TP into mid.
Here we go, 1-1-3. Maybe he doesn't want the actual fight at all, or assuming not the dragon, he wants to fight. They're going to use a tidal wave and just burst him out. Welcome to the bounce house.
And perks for... I honestly don't know what the fuck this was, but it was bad.
Slow down a little bit here, though. As I say, that Perks gets hit.
He does get hit right in the face. It's going to take a while for him to go down. Perks actually moves down towards this... I'm not quite sure exactly what he was trying to go.
I think that might have been the worst possible direction for him.
And the winner is... Perks. Here is his run of the week once again.
Slow down a little bit here, though. As I say, that Perks gets hit.
He does get hit right in the face. It's going to take a while for him to go down. Perks actually moves down towards this... I'm not quite sure exactly what he was trying to go.
I think that might have been the worst possible direction for him.
I honestly have no fucking clue what he was trying to do here. He ulted in a completely random direction when he could have just tried to ult away. He also could have tried to ult Larson. He did neither. He died. Now, this might just be the PTSD from last week's Ashe Arrows, to be fair. Anyway, this is it for this week's LEC Rundown. Join me again next week for another 15 minutes of me overplaying mild mistakes by extremely successful young men for mild comedic value.